7:35.
Okay. What's my bag right there? My bag up there.
Says the mic work.
Say it again.
The mic. The mic work. Let's see.
Okay.
That's what we on.
Checking in. All right. I know you can see it on what's the name.
It's probably working.
Because it's working on here, see?
Okay. All right.
You're supposed to see that blue thing on there, though. It's supposed to have been a blue thing on the Facebook one. Watch your hand. It's supposed to be a blue thing moving right there.
They on there. I can see it.
Let me know if anybody can hear. Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohanan. We have been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? The truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Get all your Christmas shopping done? You got that Christmas ham cooking right now? No, they about to tear it up tomorrow, huh? The heathen made out this year, huh? Think about it, right? Just amongst the black community, we spend $1.3 trillion every year. Every year. Most of our money is spent on heathenistic holidays. You understand what I'm saying? We spend our money on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, on Valentine's Day, on Mother's Day, on New Year's. And let me ask a question. What does it get us? Can anybody tell me what it gets us? What does spending all of our money within the frame of a custom and culture of people that don't care about us? Think about that. What does it get us?
Broke.
It gets us broke, exactly. It gets us broke. Most High tells us not to celebrate their customs and culture, right? Most High tells us not to celebrate their customs and culture. Let's grab a scripture real quick, right? Give me, let's go with Jeremiah 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. We're going to start at that first verse. We spend all of this money every year, right? Spend all of this money every year. You tell your kids all year not to lie, right? You tell them Santa Claus is going to bring them toys. You're lying to them. Teaching the kid to lie. You tell a kid not to lie, and then you teach him to lie. That's like a, what do they call it? An oxymoron, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're telling them to do one thing, and then you doing something different. That's like, remember when the old dude, I remember old dude around the way used to get high, right? He used to say, don't do what I do what I say.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So basically what you're telling your kid is when he gets older, he can do what he do, but he can say something else. You understand what I'm saying? You teaching our kids all of these customs and culture that destroy us. Christmas gets us nothing. Thanksgiving got us nothing. Matter of fact, Thanksgiving was the what do they call it? It was the celebration of destroying the native Indians. You know, Thanksgiving was nothing but the celebration of destroying our brothers and sisters. Anybody who celebrated Thanksgiving celebrated the destruction of the Native American Indians.
Right.
We are the tribe of Israel. That's the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians. That's the destruction of the so-called Native Indians. We were celebrating the destruction of our brothers and sisters. Now we're getting into Christmas. Christmas is another heathenistic culture that comes from a heathen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about it, right? Christmas was supposed to be what? What is Christmas? Tell me, give me an answer and tell me what is Christmas? What is Christmas the celebration of? The so-called what?
What is Christmas? The celebration?
What is Christmas?
The celebration of Nimrod.
No. What do they celebrate?
What do they celebrate?
The heathen.
The heathens say that's Jesus Christ's birthday.
Jesus Christ's birthday. How can that be Jesus Christ's birthday?
Right. How
you
can it be?
Understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Jesus Christ's birthday. When Jesus Christ was born, when was he born?
Well, it was.
It tells us in the Bible.
I mean, common sense will tell you he was born like where he was born. He wasn't wrapped up in no blanket and lambskin, and you know, ain't nobody was cold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's an illustration everywhere.
Well, all right. When you look in the Bible, right, it says that the shepherds were out watching their flocks. Right.
Right.
So in Judea, in those times, when the shepherds were out watching their flocks, it had to be a certain time of the year, because if it was too cold, it wasn't wise to have the flocks out when it was too cold in that time of the year in the fields. You understand what I'm saying? So it had to be a time.
Right.
And then on top of that, after Christ was born, what did Mary and Joseph have to do? They had to return to Bethlehem to pay the taxes.
Right.
So it was around tax time Christ was born, right? So if he was born around tax time and it was warm enough or the weather was permittable enough in Judea at that time to have sheep grazing in the field, and it couldn't have been the middle of the winter time.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So now, go ahead, what you got?
And a lot of people don't know that in the wintertime, the Middle East is at night damn near as cold as it's over here.
Exactly, it's unbearable. That's why it says it's not wise to have flocks, sheep, or any kind of animals outside grazing. You can't have them outside grazing if it's that type of weather.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that in itself is a lie. You understand what I'm saying? That in itself is a lie. And it tells you that right there in the Bible. And at the same time, Christ was born around tax time. So in tax time, that was like at the beginning of the springtime. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was bearable weather. You understand? So we have to understand, when we read in the Bible, you have to understand and look at what you read. You have to read, you have to look at it. You have to look at it in its context. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of us, because the Christian church allows a pastor or a preacher to read to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And Christians take a pastor or a preacher at 100% of what they say. You understand what I'm saying? So a priest, a pastor, or a preacher can tell you the sheep were grazing out in the middle of the field, in the middle of grass on the field. And you would absolutely believe it. You understand what I'm saying? Because our Christians and our Christian pastors and preachers, they deceive us. They do not have our best interest at hand. You understand what I'm saying? You got that scripture?
Got a
Oh, let me get that.
Jeremiah.
Hold up for a second. Please. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord was speaking unto you, O house of Israel.
Did you hear that? It says, hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Now remember this, he's only speaking to the children of the house of Israel. This is not for everybody all over the world. This is not for all nations. This is only for the children of Israel.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? The 12 tribes of Israel. This is only for the 12 tribes of Israel. And then the thing is when you read the Bible, you hear this constantly throughout the Bible. And this is where a lot of people get the Bible misconstrued. And we think that when he's speaking, when we're speaking in the Bible, when the Bible is speaking to us, or when the Most High is speaking to us, or Christ is speaking, he's talking about everybody in the world, and he's not. He's not speaking of everybody in the world. He's only talking about a specific people. This Bible was given to 12 tribes of Israel. This is our constitution. This is what we live by. It tells us how to operate amongst each other. It tells us how to operate amongst the heathen nations. It tells us how to love one another. It tells us how to greet one another. It tells us what to do when we see a fellow Hebrew Israelite or a fellow brother that we don't know, how we treat them. It also tells you how to buy, how to take care of your people. It tells you how to talk. It tells you what to do and what not to do. It tells you what to eat and what not to eat. This is our constitution. This Bible is what we are to live by. Just like when people come here to the United States, what do you have to do? What do you live by in the United States?
You live by their rules.
You live by the United States Constitution. You live by their laws. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that. We are not citizens of this nation. And this is the reason why we get treated in the way that we do. Because we are not under their constitution. We are under this constitution right here. This constitution tells us when we come into a land like this, it tells us how to operate amongst our own. And this is the reason why Most High tells us to separate. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead, finish reading.
Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Say that again. Thus saith the Lord. The Lord is speaking to us directly. And this is what he's telling us. What is he saying?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
It says, learn not the way of the heathen. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the way of the heathen?
The way of the heathen is their customs.
Give me an example.
Celebrating Christmas.
There we go. It's another one.
All their holidays.
Celebrating Thanksgiving.
Right.
Celebrating Valentine's Day.
New Year's. That's not even a new year.
But let's go somewhere different, right? Murder. Murder. That's their custom. That's their culture. Right. When the United States invades a country, let's not use invade. When the United States goes into another country, what do they do to the people in that country?
Murder.
They murder them. They rob them. They steal. They lie. All of these are customs and cultures of this nation. This is not a custom and culture that comes from our nation. You understand what I'm saying? We have to understand that. I'm going to give a good example. Think about Catherine Pugh, right? She had been working amongst these heathens for I don't know decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she got into a position of power, what did she try to do? What did she try to do?
She tried to make money off of the people's money. Trying to make she steal the people's money.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But the overall picture, what did she do?
Stole.
The overall picture is she tried to live in their culture.
Oh yeah, that's why she got.
She tried to live in doing their customs. These are customs that we all know. Living in Baltimore, we all know that politicians steal every day. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
The white politician steals every day. President Trump, so-called President Trump, gets up on a podium and lies to everybody every day. Nothing is never said. It's no backlash, right? But as soon as you get a so-called black politician makes an error or slips up and says something wrong, it's all over the news. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why we to a different standard because we are not citizens in this nation. These are not our customs and culture. And because these are not our customs and culture, the Most High, we transgress against the Most High. So what does the Most High do? Not this all. What does the Most High do?
When we transgress?
We transgress. What does he do?
He punishes.
He punishes us. And this is the reason why you see people step up. Our people step up, and as soon as we try to do what the heathen does, we get knocked right back down.
Right.
Now, where's Catherine Pugh?
Oh, they knocked her all the way down.
She's in the dust of the earth. She's in a lower state. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She knows what it feels like to be torn down now. After tearing us down, her own people, all of these years, thinking that she was above. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High has a funny way of tearing people down. You understand? Of tearing people down and putting them in their place and putting them and letting them know exactly who they are. Now, I bet you she knows she's black now, huh? Or so-called black. She knows she a so-called Negro now, huh?
Right.
Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, read.
Salar. I need to get
Jeremiah 10:2, right in the middle of
Thus, Salaki. Jeremiah 10:2. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed of the signs of heaven.
What does it mean to be not dismayed? What does dismay? What does it mean to be not dismayed?
You know, don't worship the stars, moon.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, no, but it's a little more to it than that. Right. To be not dismayed. What does dismayed mean? Go ahead, go ahead, look it up on your dictionary. Look at it in your dictionary. You got one on your phone?
No, I don't got it on my phone.
All right. For time's sake. To be dismayed is to be put in fear, or to be upset, or when you know how things don't go your way, right? You know how it makes you feel, right?
Right.
That's being dismayed. Is to be not awestruck. What's the word that I'm looking for? Disappointed. To be disappointed, to be upset. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it means to be dismayed, to be upset, to be disappointed, to be
distressed.
There you go. You understand? It says, "Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven." How can we be dismayed at the signs of heaven? Give me an example. How can we be dismayed at the signs of heaven? I'll give you a good example, and then you give me one afterwards, right? Remember back when we was young, and Friday the 13th used to hit, and people used to look up, and if it was a full moon outside, people were like, "Oh, we can't go outside because something gonna happen at night." Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's being dismayed at the signs of heaven. We make it seem like that when certain things line up in the stars, line up in the moon and the sun, all of this stuff happens. Certain things eclipse. It just, there you go. Just like, what was that? 7-8 months ago, we had the eclipse. Almost a year, right? It's been almost a year since that eclipse, right? And what was people doing? Oh, don't go out there in the eclipse because it could do something to you. Right. Or some people say, if you walk out into the eclipse and you got cancer, your cancer can get cured. Or some people say you can get superhuman powers if you walk out into the eclipse and bask in the eclipse. You understand what I'm saying? That's being dismayed at the signs of heaven. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's being dismayed. Think about this. Another thing being dismayed at the signs of heaven. Just like when we look at this, what's that called? When you're doing your birthday and you're looking at this, at your zodiac sign.
Horoscopes.
Your horoscope. Being dismayed. Oh, well, you know it's that time of the year. Well, you know it's Libra season. Oh, you know it's Scorpio season. You understand what I'm saying? Scorpio's gonna be on top for the next 30 days. You understand what I'm saying? Right. That's being dismayed at the signs of heaven. We think everything about these stars and these moons and these suns affect us personally. You understand what I'm saying? When it doesn't. That's what it means to be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Right. You understand what I'm saying? All right, read on.
For the customs of the people are vain. For one colored a...
Hold up, go back. You missed that end part of that. Okay. And be not dismayed.
Oh, signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. This is how the heathens live. You understand what I'm saying? But what do we have to remember about the heathen?
The
heathen wasn't given the law, statutes, and commandments like we were. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's Psalm 147, 19 and 20, right? The heathen wasn't given what we were given. You understand? Right. So because the heathen wasn't given what we were given, the heathen is allowed to do that. You understand what I'm saying? But the Most High tells us not to follow the customs and culture of the heathen. It says right here at the top, what does it say? Learn not the way of the heathen. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a commandment.
Right, that's the commandment. Learn not the way of the heathen. It's telling us, don't do what the heathen do. The heathen does what the heathen does. I have given you laws, statutes, and commandments to live by. What is the love of the Most High?
Keep his law, statutes, and
keep his law, statutes, and his commandments. What you got?
And it's another thing with these Christians is they're so uneducated in these scriptures that most of these Christians, these brothers and sisters in the church, they think they are the heathen,
right?
And they think that that bastard over in our land is the true
Jew.
The Jew.
But when we were saying this earlier, our people are deceived by preachers and pastors.
Right.
Preachers and pastors do not have your interest at heart. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
A preacher and a pastor has their own interests at heart, and their interests are not in the Most High. Their interests are in their own pockets. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why a lot of our people are deceived. This is why a lot of our people are dismayed at the signs of heaven. This is the reason why our people learn the way of the heathen. A lot of our people learn the way of the heathen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But this is why the Most High had to combat and say, learn not the way of the heathen. You know, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. You understand? Because he knew that living amongst them, that this was going to happen. So I got to put this in a law and say, don't do this. You understand? So if you do it, you can look at the law and say, oh, okay, all right, I understand. I'm not supposed to do this. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But because preachers and pastors have their own interests at heart, they deceive the people. Just like the Sadducees and the Pharisees did back in biblical times. They did the same thing. It's no different. The same spirit that's on them are on pastors and preachers today.
Right.
The same soul that's in them are in pastors and preachers today. It's no different. The things that they did, the Sadducees and the Pharisees did back in those days, are the same things that the preachers are doing today. The same reason, the same way people deny and push Christ away is the same way they do that to us today. It's no different. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
What is it? It tells us in the Bible that there's no new thing under the sun. I mean, paraphrasing, right? There's no new thing under the sun. The things that happened yesterday are happening today. But the Most High put us on this earth to do what? To bring our people back. Under the commanding general Yohanan, that's what we're doing, right?
Right.
Exactly. You feel me?
Okay.
Go ahead. Where we at?
We on Jeremiah.
Well, the heathen are dismayed.
We on 3.
Go ahead.
For the custom, Jeremiah 10, chapter 3. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 3. For the heathen, for the customs of the people are vain. For the one colors
Stop. Let's stop right there. Read that first part again.
For the customs of the people are vain.
For the customs of the people are vain. What does vain mean?
Like no good.
Yeah. It means something else. It means no good is right. The customs of the people are no good, but what does vain mean? You can say that, right? You can say that, but it goes a little bit more deeper. What does vain mean? Vain means
worthless.
There you go. Worthless, empty, nothing.
Nothing.
You understand what I'm saying? So the customs of the people are vain. These customs, think about it, right? I just asked you that right in the beginning of the class. What does Christmas get us?
Nothing.
It gets us nothing. It gets us broke, like you said. You understand what I'm saying? Because think about this. From the time Thanksgiving ends, what are you doing?
You're celebrating.
Nope. Yeah, you're celebrating, but from the time Thanksgiving ends, what are you focused on? What are you focused on? You focused on Christmas, right?
Oh, okay.
But what is your focus? To do what?
Spend all your money.
To work all this time to build up a whole lot of money, right? So now you're working the hell out of yourself to do what? To celebrate a holiday where the oppressor is taking all of that money. So you doubly working yourself right here with your oppressor.
Right.
To get this money back to your oppressor.
Right.
It's empty. Think about it. Think about this, right? If you ask 85% of our people, what do they do for their children all year, right?
Right.
They're going to say they do stuff for their children all year.
Right.
Right? So if you doing stuff for your child or your children all year, now you working doubly hard for your oppressor, doubly hard to get money to buy your kid more stuff than you usually buy him. The oppressor is allowing you. Think about this, right? Think if it wasn't no Christmas, what would you be doing December the 25th? If it wasn't such thing as Christmas, what would you be doing December the 25th?
If it wasn't no Christmas, we'd be celebrating Hanukkah.
I mean, yeah, all right, I got that. No, I'm saying as far as a
You be living life like it ain't like this, like it was
it'd
yesterday.
be just a regular
day,
a regular week, a regular month, right? So nothing would change.
right?
But the oppressor placed this day over your head to make you spend more. Remember when I just said we spend $1.3 trillion every year,
Right.
to go into what? Our oppressor's economy.
Right.
I said a couple of weeks ago, I was watching Bloomberg News, and they said the United States economy is 70% built on the consumer. 70% of the United States economy is built on the consumer. Who is the consumer?
Blacks.
Exactly. Why are we the consumer?
Because it's a known fact that we spend the most money.
But it's another thing. Why are we the consumer? Why are we consumers? Think about this, right? In order for you to be a consumer, you can't produce. Consumers consume, consumers eat, producers feed. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't produce anything in the United States. We don't produce cars. We don't produce clothes. We don't have any stores. We don't have any supermarkets. We don't have any schools. So we are constantly consuming. Think about this. When the East Indian comes here, he is given a chain of stores, right? The Dunkin' Donuts, and what else the East Indian own? Gas station. When the Arab comes here, he's given the gas stations, pawn shops, right?
Right.
When the Chinese come here, they are given the corner stores. When the Koreans come here, they are given all the soul food spots. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Those are producers because they take their money and put it back into their economy. We are the consumer. We get money from our oppressor and give it back to everybody else. The oppressor takes 70% of our money and everybody else takes the other 30%. You feel where I'm coming from?
Okay.
Because we celebrate their customs and culture, because we learn the way of the heathen, this is the reason why we are the consumer. This is the reason why we are destroyed people. The Most High tells us, learn not the way of the heathen. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the customs of the heathen are vain. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's telling us everything right there. That think about that. That 1, 2, and 3. That 1, 2, and 3 verse right there says everything.
Everything. Right.
You understand right there?
Right.
That says everything right there. That tells us. This explains to us why we being destroyed.
Sure is. Right.
See where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
It tells us why we are destroyed. This is the reason why we are destroyed, people, because we want to be in everybody's culture,
Right.
but the culture that the Most High gave us. You understand what I'm saying? And because we want to be in everybody's culture, we give up everything that we are. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So now everybody feeds off of us. From the lowest in the urban neighborhoods, in the hood, all the way up to our basketball players, football players, and politicians. Everybody feeds off of us. Because think about a politician, right? If they step out of line or they do anything that makes it even halfway look like they're trying to help their people, they get ousted. If they look like they're trying to do what the oppressor does, they get ousted. They have a fine line to walk. They have a fine line to walk because what? They are learning the ways of the heathen. It says, learn not the way of the heathen. And when you learn the way of the heathen and you begin to live the way of the heathen, you walk a fine line. Jack Young is our mayor now, right? He's walking a fine line. A fine line. And as soon as he step out of place, he gonna be done. You understand what I'm saying? Where we at?
Jeremiah 10:3. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
It says, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest. What is that? For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
Right.
What custom is that? What custom is that? Everybody gonna be celebrating this tomorrow.
It's a lot of trees that was on the side.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. What is he talking about?
It is a evergreen tree.
He's talking about that Christmas that's coming tomorrow. That everybody is prepared. Think about this, right?
They sold out.
Think about this though, right? Everybody either sitting up cooking their ass off, wrapping gifts, or out buying these last gifts that they can buy with the last dime they got in their pocket.
Yep. Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Store. I think malls close at 10 o'clock.
Destroying themselves. Hey, listen. When I was young, malls was closed at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
On this day.
Right.
And then on Christmas, nothing was open. Not a thing. But guess what the heathen realized? The heathen realized if he opened just a little bit later and opened just a little bit longer, he could get a lot more money from our people. These are his customs and his culture. His customs and his culture evolve as we fall deeper and deeper into his customs and his culture.
Right.
Did you hear that?
Right.
His customs and his cultures evolve as we fall deeper and deeper into his customs and his culture. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about this. Now, so I don't know how old you are, but I remember on Sundays.
43, sir.
43? Okay. You're healthy looking 43.
Thank you.
But anyway, right? When I was young, sub shops didn't open on Sundays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sub shops wouldn't open on Sundays at all. And I noticed like, it had to be like in the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, where I started seeing sub shops starting to open on Sunday. The heathen's customs and cultures evolve the deeper that we put ourselves into customs and culture. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Our people used to make Sunday dinner. You understand what I'm saying? Sunday was a time where families would gather together and be a family on that. If no time of the week, on that Sunday, you was a family on that day, and everybody.
Right.
You understand? As they begin to drag us down into their customs and culture, things begin to evolve. A lot of things that didn't happen when I was young are happening now in our older age. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we've fallen into the customs and culture of these people. Their customs and culture evolve as we fall deeper and deeper into their customs and culture. You understand? This is just how it is. You know, one cutteth a tree in the forest. This is Christmas. This is the axe man.
They say Christmas not in the Bible.
Christmas is not in the Bible. I mean, you know, the celebration of Christmas is not in the Bible. But the Bible tells us not to celebrate Christmas. Right. This is the scripture right here.
And it describes the customs that you do at Christmas.
Exactly. It describes everything that you do within this heathenistic custom is described right here. Go ahead, read.
For the custom of people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen.
Stop right there. What's the work of the hands of the workmen?
That's somebody that cuts down trees.
That's the axe man. That's the man that's cutting down the tree in the forest. Listen, this is Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 1, 2, and 3 we at right now. Right. You need to write that down. You need to write that down and take that back to your family. They don't know it. This is the scripture that you need to take to them to show them that they should not be celebrating Christmas.
Right.
The work of the hands of the workmen. That's the axe man in the forest cutting all those trees down.
Right.
Go ahead, read.
Verse 4. With the axe. Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Say that again.
They deck the halls. They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with silver and gold. What does deck mean? No, listen. Before you speak, listen. What does deck mean?
Decorate.
There you go. They decorate. See, listen. This is just giving you a description of everything that you do on this vain house. You understand what I'm saying? They deck it. They decorate it with silver and gold. What's silver and gold?
That's the that's
all the little stuff that you be hanging on, the little line of stuff
strings around it. Yeah,
you remember that? I remember the little silver stuff, and we used to do all this, and make it look like Isupk hanging down. Remember that? They decking it with silver and gold,
and it was silver and gold. What you was decking it with?
Exactly. They decorating it with
silver and gold.
Basically, that's what it's saying. They decorate it with silver and gold. Basically, you understand what I'm saying? These are the vain customs that we do that keep us away from the Most High. This is what makes us transgress against the Most High. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This is why we are in.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why our people can't get ahead. I mean, think about it, right? If 70% of the economy is built off the so-called Negro, right? If we take that $1.3 trillion, stop celebrating Christmas, stop celebrating Thanksgiving, stop celebrating Valentine's Day, stop celebrating Mother's Day, Father's Day, all of these vain holidays. Think about what we could do for our people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about everything that we could do for our own people.
Think about the tithes.
Think about the tithes.
Commander Junior Hunter can receive.
Let's go even further than that. If he had that $1.3 trillion, think about the housing that could be built. Think about the schools that could be built. Think about the supermarkets that could be built. Think about our own industries that could be built.
Good night.
You understand what I'm saying?
God.
Think about that. These holidays, think about it, right? You pay either rent or mortgage, you pay a gas and electric bill, you pay a water bill. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You pay a car note, you pay insurance. You understand? You're taking care of children, right? And holidays come and then wipe you out.
Wipe you all the way out.
You understand what I'm saying? Holidays come and wipe you out. Wipe us out. Because it affects all of us. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
These customs and cultures are put in place to keep us in a position of servitude. We always got to look to our oppressor for a job. Instead of not celebrating these customs and cultures, putting our money together and building businesses for our own people. We always got to look to our oppressor when we need housing.
Right.
If we didn't celebrate these customs and culture, we could build housing for our own people. We got to look to the oppressor when it's time for us to eat and feed our families. But if we didn't celebrate these customs and cultures, we could have industries to feed our own families. You understand what I'm saying? These customs and cultures are vain. They are empty. It's to keep you empty. What did you say earlier? It's to keep us broke.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's to keep us broke. The customs and cultures of these people, our oppressor, is to do just what it's doing now. Think about it, right? You got a lot of people walking around with True Religion jeans. How much they are?
$250.
What's something? I mean, think about it, right? $250. What's $250? 1,000? What's that? I seen somebody had a belt on that was like $300.
Nah, they got belts $700. Yeah, they got 300. Ferragamo.
Think about it, right?
Gucci belt.
A lot of our people that's walking around with that stuff on don't even have a bank account.
Yeah, they don't have a bank account. Bank account, they still living home with their mother.
They loading up their check on a card.
They loading on checks on the card.
A rush card.
A rush.
You understand what I'm saying?
Dang.
If we didn't follow the customs and cultures of these people, we'd have our own banking system. You understand what I'm saying? We have our own credit system. We could give our own people credit. You understand what I'm saying? Well, think about it. 1.3 trillion. Now, I ain't say B, I said a T.
Dang,
trillion.
right. That's a whole different
That's
ball.
way over B. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's an economy in itself. This is the reason why our oppressor can walk. Think about this, right? I don't want to get too far off, right? But think about what the oppressor that owns a football team or a baseball team or a basketball team pays his players. Think about it, right? If he could pay his player, if he could pay one player $123 million for 4 years, think about what he has already made.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? If he can drop $123 million on one player for 4 years, think about what he has already made. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. You better drop that on Lamar.
And think about that. What's that baseball player? He just got $230-something million.
Damn, I don't know.
10 years. I mean, think about it.
That was 10 year. That was a 10-year contract.
Or 8-year contract or something like that.
God
right?
damn.
But the thing is baseball money guaranteed, so he get that regardless. If a baseball owner can guarantee you that, regardless of if you play or not, think about what he has already got. You understand what I'm saying?
Damn.
Think about what he's already got.
Good night.
So now if we had that $1.3 trillion to ourselves, think about what we could build. Think about what General Yohani could do with, Commanding General Yohani could do with $1.3 trillion.
Probably could buy a section of
We
state.
probably could buy an island, move our people to the island. You understand? We wouldn't do that though. But think about it, right? I mean, you could buy a couple of islands with that.
Right.
Where we at? Silver and gold.
Come. Jeremiah, I'm starting over. Jeremiah
Speak up.
10, Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers. Remember back in the day? Remember the back in the day they used to put the little X tree used to be nailed to that so it could so it could stable itself. This is what it's talking about right there.
Right.
If you remember, I used to watch all the little the little Charlie Brown cartoon. Remember the Christmas Charlie Brown? And you had the tree, and it used to be sitting on the little X like that. And that's how they used to do it back in the day. You flip the tree upside down, boom, 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 and things like that. When you flip it back, the tree's staying stable.
Right.
Now they got that.
Right.
But they fasten it with nails and with hammers. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's to keep it stable so it don't fall over. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's telling you everything right here. It's telling us. You understand what I'm saying?
They did.
I mean, this is the blueprint right here
It's a
of what not to do.
It pretty much is. I mean, you can't get more detail than this.
Can't get more detailed than that. Go ahead, read.
That it move not.
That it move not. What we just was talking about, right? They put it on there. They nail that stuff on there so that the tree don't move. Because, I mean, think about it. The tree can't, once you chop a tree down, right? You separate it from its roots. It can't stand.
Right.
So now you got to make it so it stands. So you got to use hammer and nails to fasten it and faction it so that it stays in place. So that it does not move. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what it's talking about.
And for all the Christians that's watching and in denial, what other tree are they talking about that put deck it with silver and gold and fasten it so it may not move? What else is what else is it?
Nothing else.
It's nothing else. That's it. It's Christmas. It is your Christmas tree, and it's in the Bible, and the Lord hates it.
Listen, check this out, right? I mean, this is clear cut right here.
Yeah, it's clear cut.
What not to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
As a matter of fact, go ahead, read that next scripture. Go ahead to the next.
Verse 5. They are upright as a palm tree.
Upright as a palm tree. Now it's sitting upright because now you got it fastened, you got it nailed,
It's
you
upright.
got it straight. You understand? Go ahead.
But speak not.
But speak not. How can a tree speak?
They must need.
And how can a tree speak?
Right.
Think about it. How can a tree speak?
I mean,
After you've done all this to this tree, how can the tree actually speak?
it doesn't speak, and this is referring back to the days of Nimrod, on when Nimrod was used as the tree was used to represent Nimrod, and you had to give gifts to the tree, and if you didn't do it, then you would get murdered, and then your head will hang up on a tree like one of the ornaments.
That's true, right? But more than that, it's more simple than that, right? How does a tree speak? Think about it, right? When you was young and you celebrated Christmas, how did that tree speak to you?
That tree said to you, I'm gonna have some gifts under there on the Christmas, boy.
There you go. You hit it. Now listen, this is how it goes, right?
Right.
Santa Claus knows every child in the world. He knows who's naughty, who's nice. right? He ain't gonna leave you gifts under the Christmas tree, or he ain't gonna leave you nothing. So now, how does the tree speak to you? When you come downstairs in the morning, the first thing you're doing is saying, whether I'm naughty or nice, I'm gonna know whether I'm naughty or nice, because the tree gonna let me know. Because if it's a gift under the tree, that means I was good.
Right.
If it's not, then that means I was naughty. That's how the tree speaks. But it speaks not. The tree doesn't speak. These are the customs and culture of a people who are dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right.
And then we follow right behind them with their customs and their culture. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We follow right behind them in their customs and their culture. Go ahead, read. But speak not.
I got you. But speak not. They must needs be born.
They must needs be born. How? What does that mean? They must needs be born.
What?
The needs be born. Their needs be born. Everything that tree needs, you must do for that tree. Chop the tree down, so what do you have to do? You have to fashion it with hammer and nail so that it sits up, right? In order for that tree to last long enough all the way through the season, you gotta water it, right? Tree can't water itself, right? You gotta deck it with silver and gold. Tree can't do that for itself, right? The tree's needs must be born. Everything that has to be done for that tree, you have to do for it. The tree can't do for itself.
Right. And they got the new thing that you put in there and you can water the tree.
But the tree needs must be born. You gotta do it. The tree can't do it itself.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It says what? They must needs be born because they cannot go. They can't do anything.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Tree can't get up and go water itself. Tree can't get up and decorate itself. You understand what I'm saying? The tree can't get up and fashion the itself so that it can stand straight. Tree can't do none of that. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Read on.
Because they cannot go, but be not afraid of them.
It says, be not afraid of them. Be not afraid of them. What does that mean? Be not afraid of them. Be not afraid of who? It's not talking about the tree.
Nah. It's the spirit within the tree.
It's not the spirit within the trees. Think about this. Be not afraid of them. It's not speaking of the tree. Be not afraid of them. Think about this. When you don't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving, who would you fear? Simple. Who would you fear? Your family. Man, I hope they don't be mad at me because I ain't coming over for Christmas dinner. Man, I hope my son and my daughter don't be mad at me because I ain't getting them nothing for Christmas. I hope my mama don't be mad at me because I ain't getting her no gift. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Be not afraid of them. It says, be not afraid of them. Be not afraid of the people who you say, no, I don't celebrate that too. Be not afraid of losing a girlfriend because you don't celebrate Christmas, so you ain't getting her no gift. Be not afraid of your mama because you ain't getting her no gift. Be not afraid that she ain't going to speak to you no more. Because if she don't speak to you because you ain't buying her a gift, then she never loved you in the beginning.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If that girl leave you because you don't celebrate Christmas, she never loved you in the beginning.
Right.
If your kids hate you because you don't celebrate Christmas and you ain't buying no gift, and that hate carries on and on and on and on, they ain't love you from the beginning. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It says, be not afraid of them. Don't be afraid of your family. Don't be afraid of your friends. Because if they was family and they was friends, they will respect what you're doing. And then if they were real family and friends, they respect what you was doing and then follow you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody not for fun. This is not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is not for everybody. Let's drop that and go to Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
What was that? Amos?
Amos chapter 5, verse 21. Matter of fact, hold that, right? Let's go to Revelation 18 and 4. We're gonna hit that. No. Stay right there. Stay right there. You got that Amos 5 and 21?
I had to drop it or give it back. Amos 5 and 21.
Yeah, Amos chapter 5 and 21.
Amos 5, chapter 21. I despise your feast days.
It says, I despise your feast days. What are your feast days? What are the feast days?
Your holidays are your
holidays.
feast days.
Well, Thanksgiving,
New Year's, Christmas,
the one they get ready to celebrate tomorrow.
Valentine's Day,
your feast days, any days
4th of July.
that you have a big feast. You have a big feast on 4th of July.
Good night. Whole cookout.
That's a whole cookout, huh?
Yeah.
That's a cookout. That's a picnic, huh?
Yeah, picnic. Hey.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah, picnic.
I remember that picnic.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we used to do the picnic when we was little.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
couldn't wait. And get some new shoes and stuff.
How about that? You know, get some new sneakers, huh?
And get some new sneakers.
Yep. I remember that. You know what I mean? It says, I despise your feast days. Read on.
I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
What does that mean? I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
That means the Most High ain't going to
smell in your solemn assembly. All that food you cooking.
He's not going to respect the meat that you got, that he loved to smell on the Passover, on every holiday, you know what I'm saying? Every high holy day that we have in the Israelite school of practical knowledge. If it is not on those high holy days, he do not like the smell of the solemn assembly. You do not like the smell of
your solemn assembly when you got your head down and y'all praying over the food and all of that, when you got all your family and your relatives around. Right. That's their solemn assembly. Go ahead, read on.
Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept it.
There we go right there. That's it right there. You understand? All of that food you cooking and you praying over and trying to get the most out. And you know what that reminds me of? You know how people say, oh, God say we can eat anything we want. All we got to do is pray over it.
Right.
That's it right there.
And what we do every Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a big, look, some Christmas, I don't know if you know.
Christmas ham.
You know, some people on Christmas got a whole seafood Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It's a seafood.
I've been involved in one of them.
Right, a seafood Christmas.
I've been involved in one of them.
When it's nothing but seafood, they got shrimp, crab, lobster, scallops.
I've been involved in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I found the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I've been involved.
You got whole crab. Look, they got bushels of crab.
Yeah. I've been involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I mean? And he did not accept any of that.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead.
Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Don't pray and pray over and ask me to bless nothing
Right.
that you doing. You
Especially
understand?
that big swine. And you know how much he hates swine, and you're going to ask him to bless the swine. He's going to bless you. All right. He's going to bless you with cancer. He's going to bless you with
Notice he said fat beast.
Right. What fat beast is that?
Fat beast.
Right.
He didn't say your fat offering. He said your
fat beast.
That's that ham.
That's the ham.
You know
that pot belly. Some people cook. Some people cook the pot belly pig.
Hey, listen, check this out. Let's go to Revelations 18:4. Revelations 18:4.
Boar. Revelations.
Oh, you already there?
Yeah, let me get there. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her.
Say that again.
And I heard another voice saying, Salaki. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her.
It says, come out of her. What does that mean? Come out of her.
That means come out her customs.
There you go. Come out of her customs and her cultures. Leave those customs and cultures alone. It means remove yourself from those customs and culture.
Mm-hmm.
Stop celebrating Christmas. Stop celebrating Thanksgiving.
Right.
Stop celebrating Easter. Stop
right.
celebrating Halloween.
But,
you know?
And also,
stop celebrating New Year's.
Right.
Stop murdering our people. Stop selling drugs to our people. See, these are the customs and culture. It says come out of her. Not just the holidays, but all of their customs and culture. Everything that is about them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? What you got?
Come out of her also represents that whore.
Yeah.
That whore of Babylon.
Right.
Which is United States.
Right.
So he's representing. When he said her, the Lord calls you the United States a woman.
Exactly. Come out of her. Come out of her customs and culture.
Right.
Come out of America's customs and culture.
Right.
When has America's customs and culture helped us? Think about it, right? I was talking yesterday about civil rights. Right? Do white people have civil rights?
No.
What do they have?
Our white privilege.
They have laws.
Oh, okay. Right. Right.
And because you are not under their laws, they give you civil rights. So what do? They give you amendments and acts. They can act or amend anytime they want.
But they
can act upon it anytime they want, whether they choose to or not to. This is the reason why when you get killed and they go to court, this is the reason why the police get off. Because they can act on a civil right when they choose to and when they choose not to. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
These are the customs and culture of a people who do not love us. Zephaniah 2:1 says what? Gather yourselves together. Yea. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We are the people not desired. And because we are people not desired, these customs and these cultures always go against us. They can never be for us. This is the reason why the Most High tells you, learn not the way of the heathen. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. This is what he tells us. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why we go out there on those Saturdays, because we trying to do what? We're trying to wake our people up. We're trying to have them come back to our customs and culture. Come back to this Bible. Come back to the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has given us, right? This is the reason why we out there on those Saturdays speaking to our people. When we go out there, we say what? We're not talking to the heathen nations. We're not talking to the oppressor. We're talking to our people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's the reason why we get out there. You understand?
Right.
It's not so much so that we hate our oppressor, but we love our people more. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we get out there and do what we do.
Right.
Where we at?
Revelation 18.
Go ahead. 18:4.
I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people."
My people. There we go again. Come out of her, my people. Who is it talking about? Who are we talking about?
It's a possessive word. It's called about the Israelites.
That's right. It's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That ye be not partakers of her sins. What are her sins?
Not obeying the law, statutes, and commandments.
But what are her sins?
Well,
anything that is not of the Most High.
Right.
All just like you said, though, her customs and her culture.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Think about everything that America do. America says homosexuality is good.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
It's right.
Mm-hmm.
America says abortion is right.
Mm-hmm.
America says murder is good. America says stealing is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's how they got this country, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got their economy. They stole us from another land, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say America says lying is okay, right? It's good. It's righteous. That's what they did to the Native American Indians, right?
Right.
It says, come out of her, my people. You understand what I'm saying? Leave these customs and cultures alone. When we delve into these customs and cultures of this nation, it destroys us. We transgress against the Most High, and the Most High punishes us for that. You feel me? Go ahead, read.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
And that ye receive not of her plagues. What are her plagues?
Homosexuality.
There you go. What's another one?
Murder.
What's another one?
Drug dealing.
Anything that is not of the Most High. You said everything that was right. Everything you said was right. Murder, high blood pressure, homosexuality, lying, stealing, cheating,
destroying your own people.
Destroying your own people. All of that. You know? Let's drop that. And this right here, this is going to be my last scripture right here. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 7.
Okay.
Verse 3. Neither shall thou make marriage with them.
It says, neither shall thou make marriages with them. What does that mean?
You shouldn't marry these other nations, nor should you marry into their customs.
Damn.
That's a double-edged sword, right?
Booyah. There you go. Marrying into their custom. First of all, marrying into their people, and then marrying into their customs and culture. Think about this too, right? When you marry into their people, automatically you do what? You
take on their
customs and their culture. Think about this. When Martin Luther King married us into our oppressor, he integrated us in, right? And in integrating us into America, what did he do? He married us.
He married us unto
them, right? And whenever you integrate into something, you become the thing that you integrate into. You understand what I'm saying? Whenever you marry or whenever you integrate into something, you become the thing that you integrate into. You see what I'm saying? You become that thing. When somebody integrates into Isupk culture, what happens to them?
Say it again.
When somebody integrates into Isupk culture.
As far as what? What you mean? Like
listen to what I'm saying.
You're not talking about a heathen.
No, listen.
Okay.
I ain't talking. Listen, you can't.
You can't integrate. Okay, I'm slack.
A heathen can't come in here.
Right.
So listen to what I'm saying. When a person integrates into Isupk culture, what happens to them? What do they become?
They become a reborn person.
There you go. But they become Isupk.
Right, exactly.
Whenever you integrate into something, you become the thing that you integrate into. Right. Martin Luther King integrated us into white society, and we were destroyed by it.
Obliterated.
That's fire and ice, oil and water. None of those things mix.
Right.
So the thing that integrates in becomes destroyed by the thing that is trying to integrate it to.
Right.
You understand? You either become it or you be destroyed by it. You understand? Remember on Star Trek, remember the Borg? Remember that? Remember the Borg used to go around and they used to capture people from other planets and then they became part of the Borg. Remember that? You don't remember that?
Right.
Not dissolved, Taji.
No, I got you. I say yeah. I say yeah. Salaki.
It's the same thing.
Right.
You understand? The Borg was evil, right? Supposedly supposed to be evil, right? So whenever they came upon another planet, they forced the people of that planet to integrate into them and become them.
Right.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of people that was on the Star Trek plane, on the Star Trek Enterprise, got integrated into the Borg, and they became part of that Borg. Remember that?
Right.
Well, that's what integration does. It forces you to become something that you don't want to be. You understand?
Right.
It's the same thing. Where we at? 7 and 3. Go ahead.
Neither shall I make marriages with them. Thy daughter that shall not give unto his son.
Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons. When we let our daughters marry unto them, our daughters become them, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Neither.
No.
That's right. Nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy son.
Nor his daughter shall thou take unto thy sons. We marry, it's the same thing, right? We marry our sons into their daughters. Our sons take on those customs and culture of those people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Read on.
For they will turn away thy son from following me.
They will turn away thy son from following me. Think about this Christianity, right? Christianity stopped a whole lot of our people from following the Most High. How did it stop our people from following the Most High? How did Christianity stop our people from following the Most High?
Christianity took away laws.
You got it. You want to keep on.
And it took away us following the Most High statutes and commandments.
There you go. You understand what I'm saying? Because Christianity doesn't follow what the Bible says.
No, they don't even read the Bible.
They don't read the Bible. But not only that, where did that come from?
That came from
Catholicism. It's the same thing.
I better say
Catholic,
wrong.
Right?
Wrong. I'll say wrong.
I grew up a Catholic.
Right.
And we never read the Bible.
Right.
The priest read one scripture out of the Bible, then he closed the Bible, and then he started preaching.
Right.
Right? Well, think about what goes on in the Christian church.
Connect.
It's the same thing. They read one scripture, right?
Now
this is what you see.
They do.
This is what you see, right? Now I'm gonna tell you what the Most High said.
I can eat pork.
He went down to Jericho. You understand what I'm saying? But this is what they do. And then what happens to our people? Our people, we think about it, right? We are people of rhythm culture. And anything that seems like it's on the verge of party, we get caught up in it. So the preachers and the pastors, they get you on that verge of the music and the ambiance of the church. And then when you hear that voice and you hear it sound like they about to undertone the singing and all of that, you get caught up into that and you never hear the word. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we get caught up in those customs and culture, and that custom and that culture comes straight from Catholicism, come from Roman Catholic, come from the Greeks and the Romans and all of that. You understand what I'm saying? But the Bible tells us to come out of her. Be not dismayed. Don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right.
You understand? Learn not the way of the heathen. You understand? These are all of the things that the Bible tells us not to do, but we do it anyway. You understand? Go ahead, finish.
Shit. I keep doing that.
Yeah, verse 4.
For thy will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
They may serve other gods. Think about it. In Christianity, you serve a Caesar Borgia, right?
Right.
You go to Islam, you serve a who?
You serve Allah.
Allah, that rock.
Right.
Right? You serving everybody. We find out we serve everybody in every. I couldn't believe I found out it was black people that was Buddhists. Black people are Buddhists.
Black people was the original Buddhists.
Yeah, but we into everything but what the Most High gave us.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They was the original stupidity.
Right. Right.
Original Buddhists. They the original stupidity.
Right.
Noodles. Whatever you want to call them. You understand what I'm saying? But we into everything but what the Most High gave us. These laws, statutes, and commandments. This is what the Most High gave us. Go ahead, read on.
That they may serve other gods, so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you? Hell yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you? When you don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, hell yeah, the anger of the Lord will be kindled against you. That's why we suffer the way we do. It tells us in the Bible that we will be punished for our iniquities, right?
Right.
What is iniquity? The sin. It's transgression of the Most High. Understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead, read on.
And destroy these suddenly.
And destroy these suddenly. This is why we number one in having heart attacks, high blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroids and fibroids, all of this other stuff. Because we do everything that the Most High tells us not to. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But if we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, what we always say, we'll be on top.
Right.
And they'll be on the bottom.
Right.
But until then, we're going to remain the bottom seat. You understand? But one day, our day will come where we will turn back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by the Most High. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Police Officer Natazal. He can do the security now. You good? Hey,
end of Hanukkah. Class. This is not a real, this is just a PBI, like, let you know. I made a mistake. I was checking the thing and
Just put
it's not real. Okay. All right. This security announcements. We had an Isupk coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jenny Ahana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're here to shelter themselves from the world. They'll be saluted only. They are here to shelter themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular brother in a person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, a brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10, which means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of any increase of the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy events, we got the end of the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah, is Saturday. Next, we got the Salakit. This Friday is the end of the Feast of Dedication. Then we got the Feast of Purim, March 8th. Passover, April 9th. Check your head of the school for further details. Remind every Akim and Akwathim to check social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on forth for Isupk events and the material. If a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he is to wear all black, which include all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. In Israel, Amaya Shabbat, Amaya Barak, class dismissed. No, this is not real. Once again, it's a beating line.
Don't worry about that. Put that away.
Shalom.